But first at 5 tonight, Talking Shop. Ontario has now joined Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta in allowing private pot sales.
The province was initially set to sell cannabis in government-run stores. The same model in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and PEI will follow when it becomes legal on October 17th.
CTV's Heidi Petracek spoke with people on all sides of the issue today to see how they feel about this patchwork of different rules. Heidi?
Well, Jason and Anna, many cannabis advocates and those in the cannabis industry are applauding the decision out of Ontario, even though it means stores there won't be open in time for legalization. And it has some in the Maritimes asking why we're doing it differently. The question of where cannabis should be sold once it's legal in Canada is a complicated one for some.
Private, I think, is good because it would be good for the economy. But then, I mean, it would be more regulated as well if government takes over. But it's a really, really tough call. It's a very good question.
For others, the answer comes quickly.
Personally, I think a private store is a better option.
But I think it's more important that we have the proper controls and safety is incorporated, and whoever can do that best should be doing it.
Place where I can buy it for the best price would be perfect for me.
Come October 17th, where you can buy legal non-medical cannabis will depend on the province you live in. In the Maritimes, all three provinces have opted to go with retail locations run by the government. This is one of the NSLC locations in Nova Scotia in downtown Halifax here on Clyde Street. But while the Maritime provinces have chosen to go with the government-run model, other provinces are going with private operations. In Alberta, there are even going to be cannabis stores in grocery outlets. In Ontario, newly elected Premier Doug Ford has reversed that province's previous decision and says private stores there will now be the purveyors of pot, but not until next spring. A move some cannabis advocates here applaud.
Entrepreneurship is going to thrive there a lot more so than it can here.
Chris Henderson is a cannabis lounge owner.
There could be a lot more available to consumers that they won't get to experience with this type of model, and it really doesn't take into account the demand that's out there for cannabis.
One international group that represents the interests of consumers says there are two problems with a government-run model for cannabis sales. The first is access. In Nova Scotia, for example, there will be 9 stores to serve the whole province. The other problem?
Private retailers are actually statistically more likely to ID customers properly because the incentives are skewed in a way that it encourages best practices.
That's because private businesses would face heavy fines if they sold cannabis to anyone underage. For its part, the province of Nova Scotia is standing by its decision to let the NSLC handle cannabis sales, stating, "As the market develops and we learn more about the impact of legalization, our model may evolve. The Nova Scotia Liquor Corporation will be the sole authorized seller of cannabis in the province, and there is no plan to change that." And the question of whether cannabis sold through government outlets will work smoothly or not will be answered once legalization happens. That's when Nova Scotia opens its 9 stores, New Brunswick opens its 20, and PEI opens 4. Jason and Anna.
Thank you so much, Heidi. That is our Heidi Petracek reporting live for us in studio in Halifax tonight.